Hello, welcome to the channel. As usual, let's get right into it. The topic for today is on NdivhuT and Promise and the shade that they threw at apparently Owamie and the rest of the gossip YouTubers. Let's hear what they had to say.
I was making 20 videos every single day.
No.
Yeah, of it that time. YouTube was like my do or die.
So the minimum, are you saying minimum or maximum?
Minimum was 80,000 rand. That was our target.
Per
The other
month?
per month. The other one will just be a bonus. She loves people too much.
That's what I wanted to say. Yeah, we'll speak about that as well.
I want to keep this video short, so I'll just do a quick summary of the podcast. So basically, NdivhuT and Promise had a podcast together. So it's on Promise's channel called Own Narrative Podcast. She has a different segment on Sundays where she talks to working wives and working mothers to see how do they make their money and boss babe vibes and all of that. So she had NdivhuT, which gave people the idea that Owamie will definitely be the topic, considering that they both had a fallout with Owamie. NdivhuT had a fallout with Owamie based on YouTube because Owamie felt that Ndivhu stole her idea and was working against her, considering that she was the one who mentored Ndivhu initially. And NdivhuT has never credited her input, by the way, and she has never responded, which is very commendable considering how many times Owamie had taken the opportunity to what people would call drag in a sense. And then we have Promise. So when Promise came into the limelight, it was through TikTok. So TikTok was her first platform where she was most known, if I'm not mistaken, and it was there that she made a video about not taking care of a child that is outside of her marriage, some baby mama drama. And of course, Owamie being an entertainment or a gossip channel, she made a video about it, just like she makes videos about anybody else who is trending, and that was the trending topic at the time. And Promise did not take that kindly, considering that she felt like she had a relationship with Owamie. So Owamie went on to clarify that there wasn't really a relationship. It was just that Promise had gotten into her DMs asking for tips on how she can grow her YouTube channel and how she can get into, entertainment space. So from then on, the two had a back and forth, and it went on until Promise went on to interview Owamie's husband at the time, ex-husband, claiming that it was for right of reply. Oh, this fueled it even further. So NdivhuT and Promise sitting for a podcast gave people the idea that shade was definitely going to be thrown. I'll be honest, I didn't feel a lot of shade in a sense. NdivhuT has always been peaceful, but I felt like on leaving gossip, I feel like she is making it seem like entertainment news is just gossip. I feel like it depends on how you report the news. It doesn't have to be toxic. You have, for example, somebody like Pella, some people would know Film Pella on Twitter, and you have somebody like Musa Kaula. You can choose to be a Film Pella. There is an audience for a Film Pella, and there is an audience as well for a Musa Kaula type of content. You see, both of these people are pop culture reporters, but it just depends on on the approach that you choose to take. So I don't believe in the notion that gossipers or entertainment news is toxic, right? And then she went on to say that she made over, as you'll see in some of the clips that I'll put, she made over 80,000 a month, y'all. And she was producing 20 videos a day. You can see that was a working machine. And she turned it into a business by employing more people to come and help her produce as many videos per day to meet her targets. She didn't just take it as a hobby, she made it a business. And it was that led her to building her next business, which was the Mashonisa business, which she did really clarify that it's not Mashonisa anymore, it is now micro lending.
Able. So did you now start your Mashonisa business with this YouTube money?
Yes. I also sold sex toys. So
that gave birth to Saint Studios. So the gossip channel gave birth to what is called now Saint Studios, where they have a studio and they produce content for other creators. Understand? So they not only film, they can also edit, they can also consult. Basically, it is a production house, fully fledged. So on the shade part, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with Promise trying to get, Ndivhu to say something about Owamie. She didn't say Owamie in any sense, but when Ndivhu mentioned Simright, that no, Simright is doing it right. Simright loves people. I think Ndivhu was just saving her friend after she said all that about being about toxicity and not being good for your mental health. But she remembered that, oh my God, my friend is in there, but we must throw all the other ones under the bus, which is understandable. But I felt like she was happy. Promise was happy to hear something negative. But what I also noticed is that, which is something that I liked, is that Promise was just as curious as all of us about Ndivhu's life, how she got married, how she got her children, how she is moving from business to business, and how she is maintaining all of that, which is what makes a good podcast. When there is continuous engagement and there is a genuine interest in what a person is saying, that is what makes a great podcast. And of course, asking the relevant questions about all, the growth and how the businesses are going and how she is maintaining them. So I also felt that after Ndivhu told her the amount of money she was making initially, she couldn't believe it. Like 80,000. She was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And when she told her that she has done multiple businesses, she was shocked. She in fact, she even called her. We didn't know that we were sitting with the boss babe. It was like she has just found new respect for Ndivhu, because I do feel like Promise does have a part of being a classist. A classist, like she will respond to you the way that she thinks you are in comparison to her, or in comparison to what her rich standards, are. So after that, I felt that she was like, I'll never underestimate you ever again. So that's my review of the podcast, and all the best to Ndivhu on her new path. But as I said, she is the one who chose the toxic route. She even went on and said that if you give information and educational content, you won't grow. That is definitely not true. People just want you to be creative and be interesting, as much as there will be those people who are looking for that type of content. There are channels that are information led, that are growing. Entertainment news is very important to grow the industry, and also it is informative, because not everybody is going to be scrolling up and down on Twitter. Usually the gossip channels don't make the news, they just report on it. And it is a choice to choose the toxic route instead of the informative and celebratory route. And on this part of it being said, you find podcasts today that are leveraging on the very same sad topics. You find divorce channels are growing. You find breakup and imijolo channels that are growing because people are looking for, trauma bonds. People are looking for other people who will make them feel like they are not alone. So let me just end it by saying all the best to Ndivhu. And the reason why, oh yes, there's this part. The reason why the T-World lost viewers after you switched your content and Pastor Bae and NdivhuT is because of the type of people that you called onto your platform. So there is an audience for every type of content, you see. So for example, let me make an example with MacG. If MacG were to change now and talk about talk about God, for example, obviously people will not watch. Why not? Because that is not the reason why they joined the channel. They have different channels for different purposes. That there are lots of channels, and each one, they go to each channel for a different purpose. So if you're no longer giving that, people will not watch. The same with Mpumile Dwaba. If Mpumile Dwaba were to now change and start talking about clubbing and being a side chick, people will not watch that type of content because that is not what they want. They want that wholesome, they want that interactive, authentic, introspective type of content from her. So that was the cause of the drop in my perspective. So you have to continue to coach your audience into moving along with you. That's why there are those that stayed, but you have to little by little coach them to tell them your direction that you are taking. Otherwise, great podcast. The ladies are growing and they will only get better and better and better. Shout out. Kindly hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and I will see you on the next video. Leave your comment down below. Let's talk about it. Cheers.